What's up, guys? Welcome back to In the Pressbox, episode 72. My name is Benjamin, and it's just me today. We apologize. Last couple of weeks, we've not been uploading. Whether it's been busy things at school that have come up. We were going to then record last night, but a big storm happened in our area. So it's just been a complete mess. But we'll get back to the weekly uploads, with all of us here consistently very soon. So we do apologize. Please forgive us. No mics. No Aiden and Alex. It's just me tonight. We'll make this fun, and we'll get through this. Let's talk about what we're talking about today in this episode of episode 72 of In the Press Box. We're going to talk about the NFL, the NBA and NHL playoffs, the MLS, and then we'll round it out with my predictions for the week. Let's dive right into it. The Titans sign Tyler Boyd from the Bengals. A good move for the Titans. I like this move, a good slot receiver. You look at what Tyler Boyd did with the Bengals over his years. Only missed 3 games in all of his years with the Bengals. Almost caught it for 1,000 yards last year. He's a good pickup, and I like that pickup with DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and now Tyler Boyd. Titans are looking good. I saw some people saying, this is maybe a sneaky top 10 receiving core. But more importantly, this is big for Will Levis. This is Will Levis's time to shine because unlike the Justin Fields and the Daniel Jones, who you could make an argument, they never got a fair shot. Will Levis is getting a fair shot. So we're going to see if Will Levis is the real deal or not after these signings. But I really like this signing in Tyler Boyd. And, I was just talking with someone about this today. I still think Treylon Burks can be good. I still think he can contribute. Maybe not that number one wide receiver talent, but I do think he can still contribute to this team and this roster. You look at him and Nick Westbrook-Akine, in the 4th and the 5th receivers. Man, this team has got good depth at the receiver position and pretty good depth in a lot of places. And, ever since we've done the podcast too, it was the draft when we left off, and now the Titans have got our new guys, Tavondre Sweat coming in, J.C. Latham. I like both of those pickups. Personally, I would have taken Brock Bowers. That's just me. We'll see what the Twins think about that. But J.C. Latham, I do like that pickup. I believe that Bill Callahan can help convert these guys, and help rebuild this offensive line back to what it was with Taylor Lewan, Conklin, all these people that have since departed. But now I think we can build this back together. And Will Levis has no excuses. There's no excuses. You can't say, my offensive line was bad. My receivers are bad. Injuries, no excuses. Will Levis, this is his year, and I'm excited to see what he does because I like Will Levis. I think he's going to do pretty well. So I'm excited to see what Will Levis does. And next question here that I did write on here, are the Titans contenders? I don't know if we're contenders, but I can see us making the playoffs. So kind of to summarize that segment, overall, my main takeaways, if you're listening and watching here, my main takeaways of that would be Titans sign great receiver, get added good depth, probably now make the playoffs with that signing. I really like that signing. Only $4.5 million. Let Rand cook. Great job. All right, now let's move on to the NBA and NHL. Does Jamal Murray deserve a lengthy suspension after throwing stuff on the court? So for those of you who do not know who Jamal Murray is, he is a Nuggets player, one of their main contributors, and he got angry at the refs, which is a whole separate story. I mean, the refs have been a mess in the NBA this year, and everyone knows that. So then he throws a heating pad onto the court. He's trying to throw it, I think, at the ref, and then he threw a towel and stuff, and that's dangerous. If someone slips on that, they could get hurt. That is not good. So I personally would have suspended him. NBA fines him, I think it was $100K, and I heard it's like he makes $100K per quarter because he's one of the main players. But you can't throw stuff on the court purposely. I mean, I don't know. I think the NBA need to suspend him there, but at the same time, it's kind of the playoffs. I understand he's one of the main players, so I do understand not suspending him in some ways, but I would have suspended him because I think you need to set the tone. They've set the tone with gambling. They've set the tone with some of these other things. We need to make sure no one's throwing objects on the court. So I would have suspended him, but I don't know. That series looks over to me. The Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards. I mean, The Timberwolves look great. They look like contenders to me. Next question here is, do the Knicks have a legitimate chance to win it all? Yes, they do. Jalen Brunson is putting up historic numbers, the Knicks star player. He has been just unbelievable. I think he had around 40 the other night. The problem with the Knicks is that they are picking up some injuries, so I do worry about their depth later in the playoffs. And the Pacers are a sneaky good team too. And then what can the NBA do to fix this growing ref problem is the next question tonight. There's a growing ref problem in the NBA. It's tough. You know, there's so many kind of 50-50 calls that these guys have to make, and they're human, so they're going to mess up. They're releasing these reports of, you know, what specific calls they got wrong, but there's been some bad calls. You know, the Knicks in the 76ers series a couple weeks ago, there were some horrendous calls. Pacers and Knicks, been some bad calls to the point where the Pacers have even messaged the NBA, literally complaining about it. It's gotten that bad. They're legitimately complaining and saying, I think they had like 72 messages to the NBA according to like reports. So yeah, not looking good for the NBA and their refs. But you know, they'll fix it. They'll fix it. They know what they can do there. And then next topic here. Let's move on to hockey. Preds eliminated. So Preds, great season, just couldn't overcome the Canucks. Just kind of those little mistakes were kind of the main thing. You know, we lose that game. We're up with a minute to go. We concede the 2 goals, head to overtime, and then we lose in overtime. You know, there's just certain like little things. In that last game in Game 6 where we got eliminated, for those of you who don't know, just fell apart at the end. We just couldn't finish the job. And I think that we were the better team. I think a lot of people think we were the better team in that series, but it just wasn't meant to be with the Preds. And it is what it is. I mean, there's only so much they can do at this point. And, you know, you've got 82 games to prove yourself in the regular season, but when it you know, counts the most, it's in the playoffs, and they didn't step up. So it is what it is, but they're a young team. They got a bright future. So I'm happy with what the Preds did this year. Overall, very successful season. And then it says, who is your front runner to win the Stanley Cup as of now? The New York Rangers, without a doubt. The New York Rangers are just spectacular. They've not lost a single game in the playoffs up to the time of this being recorded. We'll see about what happens tonight. But I like the Rangers, man. They're overall a good balanced team. Mika Zibanejad, you got Igor Shesterkin, their goaltender. He's playing really well. They just got a whole lot of things kind of going for them right now. And I predicted them to win at the start before these playoffs started. And overall, New York Rangers, absolutely still my front runner as of right now. Now let's move on to the MLS for our final segment before predictions. And it's mainly about Nashville SC tonight. Let's talk about Sam Surridge in Nashville SC. Sam Surridge with the club's 4th ever hat trick in history on Saturday night. Sam was spectacular. We need him to be spectacular. He had the 4th lowest goals expectancy in the whole league for someone that we paid $9 million for. That's not acceptable. And then boom, 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 hat trick, Sam Surridge. So I like that. I'd like to see Mukhtar maybe try to get a goal or two, because we still want to see Mukhtar get back up to those levels that we know he can be. Repping NSC right now as we're recording. But I like where we're going. I do still say Gary Smith out. I do think if we had a better coach, better tactics, a little bit less of park the bus, I would appreciate that. I think everyone would appreciate that at this point. There's some other things, even just going to the games. I just feel like the fan base has kind of lost interest. You know, kind of players seem to have lost interest. So, I mean, that's just a couple of reasons there. And once you lose the fans in the locker room, it's really tough to gain that back. So Gary Smith is still on the hot seat despite that win. We do get Zimmerman back, and that seems to have helped a lot, especially since we call ourselves a defensive team. But, you know, injuries happen. I think we've dug ourselves in a hole, but we can get out of it if we get more of that magic from Sam Surridge, a little bit more from Mukhtar, and, you know, solid defense. We can get back in it. Another quick little thing to touch on in the MLS, Antoine Griezmann, the Frenchman, and Marco Reus, the German, couple of big names in Europe looking at the MLS. Reus is in negotiations with St. Louis. Griezmann is in negotiations with Miami, of course, because Miami always signs everyone. But Antoine Griezmann, Marco Reus, a couple of quality players. Nashville SC probably doesn't really have a use for either of them. I mean, of course, I'll take them, but nothing there for Nashville SC to look out for. So I guess kind of main takeaways of that segment would be Sam Sturridge on fire. Our coach, Gary Smith, is on the hot seat. Nashville SC, work to do to dig ourselves out of a hole and get back into the playoffs. All right, let's move on to a quick statement and question here. Comment down below if you're listening at this point. Comment down below. What is your favorite fruit juice? Favorite fruit juice? Comment that down below. And for me, not my favorite, but an underrated one is grapefruit juice. I kind of found a new love for grapefruit juice. It's kind of good. So give that a try. I would say that that's actually a top 3 juice. That's a little questionable, but it is what it is. Comment down below if you agree with my take or not on that. And we'll try to reply to those comments. All right, let's move on to predictions now. We're going to cover the NHL, NBA, and then we'll round out with the MLS. All right, so predictions starting us off. Also, our standings, I believe Aiden's overtaken the lead again, and then it's Alex, and then it's me. I'll come back this week, and we'll post the Twins predictions also on the community tab so you guys can get a look at those. And I'll keep you guys updated on any wagers and stuff. But last Alex calculated the predictions, it was the same old, unfortunately, with Aiden up top. All right, starting us off with the Panthers and the Bruins. This game is going to be interesting. I'm going to go with the Bruins in this one. I think the Bruins back at home in the Garden. They got a little bit too much power. The fans are on their side. I like the Bruins to take this game. Then we have the Oilers and the Canucks. I'm going to go with the Oilers on this one. Last night, they lose to the Canucks kind of in heartbreaking fashion, I'm not going to lie. The Oilers totally should have won that game. The Canucks kind of steal one. And I'm going to go with the Oilers on this one. Hurricanes, the Rangers and the Hurricanes. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. They're down 2-0 in the series. They got to get one back, and they're at home in front of that raucous crowd there in Raleigh. I'm going to give the Hurricanes the edge in that one. Stars and the Avalanche. I got Avalanche in this one at home all day. I like to take the home team normally. If I'm not quite sure in a playoff game, I'm going to take the home team. And then we have the Panthers and the Bruins. I'm going to go with the Panthers. I like what the Panthers are doing. This is now game 4. I like what the Panthers are doing. I mean, I think the Bruins do take game 3, but the Panthers do respond because this Panthers team, they're well coached, they're well run. I like Kachuk. They got kind of scrap. They got grit. I like the Panthers, man. I'm gonna say that they split it with the Bruins in Boston. Canucks and the Oilers. I'm gonna go with the Oilers again. They're back at home this time in game 3. Again, I think of that home crowd in Edmonton, they're good. It's gonna be tough for the Canucks, but I will say, watch out for the Canucks. They stole the road games from us, so we know the Canucks can play on the road really well. So we'll see how that turns out. Knicks and the Pacers. Pacers in this one. Pacers are down 2-0 in the series, but the Knicks have the injuries. OG Anunoby, one of their star players, out. He would normally guard probably Pascal Siakam. And that's going to be a problem for the Knicks. You're going to have massive mismatches. So I'm going to go with the Pacers. Nuggets and the Timberwolves. I got the Timberwolves on fire right now. Good luck, Jamal Murray, with those Timberwolves fans in Game 3. That's not going to go well. Thunder and the Mavericks. I'm going to go with the Thunder. Oklahoma City. Too much Luka Doncic. Mavericks star player, not 100%. I'm going to go with the Thunder in this one. Celtics and the Cavaliers. Celtics all day. Celtics way better team. Cavaliers kind of snuck in to the second round. Celtics all day, every day. Knicks and the Pacers. Pacers again, depth for the Knicks. They're going to start to get exhausted. And I think on the road in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, that's going to be tough for the Knicks. And then the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Give me the Timberwolves again. They sweep the Nuggets, advance to the Western Conference Finals. The Timberwolves, man, they're a special team. And you had the aspect of Karl Anthony Towns being the main guy there. Now it's Anthony Edwards, but Towns has handled it so well. And then no one can forget about Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year there. Minnesota, watch out. They could really win it all. We'll see, though. All right, now we move on to the MLS. Inter Miami against CF Montreal. I'm going to go with Inter Miami. Messi, Suarez, and Miami. A little bit too much for CF Montreal. Joseph Martinez gets his kind of is return against them, this time at home. They did face them on the road earlier this year. Montreal went to Miami, where they actually beat them. But I think this time around, Inter Miami wins. FC Cincinnati against Columbus Crew in the Ohio Derby, Hell Israel Derby. I'm going to go with the Columbus Crew, the defending champs on this one. Home crowd a little bit too much. It's going to be a great environment. If you're going to be watching a game, watch that game. That's going to be fun to watch. And then finally, Nashville SC against Charlotte FC. Give me NSC in this one. Sam Surge coming off of the hat trick. We head on the road up to Charlotte. Hopefully we can repeat that, and if we do, we come away with the win. Also, there's some drama around Charlotte with kind of Capetti and people leaving, kind of some player and coaching drama, but I do like NSC there on the road in Charlotte. All right, final thing to just leave you guys off. Viewing pick of the week for me would be the Knicks and the Pacers on Sunday, and that's my viewing pick of the week. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. My name is Benjamin Ray. Adios.